the integration between TradePMR's Fusion platform as well as AdvisoryWorld's SCANalytics application. Now, what you should all be looking at is an interface here. Hopefully everyone's familiar with that. And to highlight some of the AdvisoryWorld functionality within this Fusion system, I'm simply going to click on this Accounts icon here. And in my demo account here, or demo login, I have just one account set up. But to give you an idea of what you have the ability to do seamlessly in this Fusion interface using AdvisoryWorld reports, so I can simply come over to this Positions tab. And on this account level, I have the ability to build a holding scan report. By simply clicking on this button, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Our holding scan report is very similar to the Morningstar X-ray report, which some of you may be familiar with. Our report is going to be fully branded for TradePMR with the logo right up top, as well as the color scheme to match the TradePMR branding here. Now, due to the number of people on this call, I've went ahead and muted everyone. If you have any questions about the interface, AdvisoryWorld reporting through Fusion, or AdvisoryWorld reports in SCANalytics, please feel free to type those into the question chat box, and I'll do my best to address those questions. Again, looking at the holding scan, right up top, I have my macro allocation breakdown, which is actually taking a look at all the underlying holdings in this illustration, giving me a breakdown of equity, fixed income, convertibles, cash, and other. Directly below that, I have my hypothetical back-tested performance, comparing this account to the weighted asset class benchmark. Our system's basically generated a benchmark for this account on the fly, given the composition of the portfolio. On the top right, I'm going to have my asset class allocation, giving me a breakdown of the current allocation of the client's account. Below which, I'm going to get my risk versus return graph, showing me how the client account stacks up to that weighted asset class benchmark. Directly below this risk versus return chart, I'm also going to get my basic MPT, or modern portfolio theory statistics, such as the Sharpe ratio, alpha, beta, and R squared, on different time periods, as well as since inception of the portfolio. And similar to that, under my hypothetical performance chart, I'm going to get trailing returns on this benchmark as well as a portfolio. Our holding scan report is also going to include the best and worst case analysis, here showing me how the portfolio as well as the benchmark did on any best and worst period over a 3-month, 1-year, or 3-year time period. Page 2 of this holding scan report is going to give me equity properties, fixed income properties, as well as metrics right up top, which also feature the average expense ratio of all the products in this illustration. I'll get my top 10 equity sectors, as well as top 10 equity countries, giving me some basic sector and country diversification. I'll also get my top 10 equity holdings, showing any overlap that might exist within the portfolio. Here doesn't look like there's any overlap at all, but does show me the top 10 equity holdings, whether that's an individual position or a component of a mutual fund. Again, the holding scan report, similar to that Morningstar X-ray, and can be generated directly out of the Fusion interface by simply clicking the holding scan button in any account. Now, we also have the ability directly out of this interface to look at any product at a closer level. So for example, here, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this mutual fund and generate our fact sheet on this product. I simply click the fact sheet button, and again, my report is going to pop up here seamlessly, giving me all of the product information right up top, showing me it's a mutual fund, family, manager, tenure information, inception, 52-week highs and lows, any minimum purchase amounts, front-end loads, management fees, as well as expense ratios right up top. Fact sheet also provides me with the risk versus return graph. Again, some modern portfolio theory statistics below that. Hypothetical back-tested performance for this product compared to its benchmark. as well as trailing return information directly below. Now, our fact sheet is also going to provide you with allocation, sector, and country information, as well as equity properties and top 10 holdings for the fund or product. And one really neat feature about our fact sheet is we're also going to provide you with a Lipper category ranking on the bottom left hand here, showing you how this fund stacks up to its competition in terms of quintile rank, percentile rank, as well as a numeric rank and the count of all the players in that universe. So again, both this fact sheet and the holding scan report can be generated directly out of the Fusion interface simply by going to the account level, generating a holding scan or the fact sheets. Now, another fairly neat feature here is you have the ability to sign on to our full SCANalytics application seamlessly simply by clicking on this AdvisoryWorld tile here under the Apps header. By clicking on this button, you're basically going to be taken to our full standalone product sign-in page. Here I have the ability to log into SCANalytics as a standalone application, which is going to give me full system use here. Now, one of the neat features about the SCANalytics application as a standalone is I also have the ability to import any client data from Fusion into our SCANalytics application. It would be as simple as clicking on this import button, selecting my import source as TradePMR, and then clicking on import. Unfortunately, I don't have my demo account set up with live import, but basically I would click on import here and I would be able to see my full client list and pull in any existing clients in the TradePMR system and build our full gamut of reports in SCANalytics on those clients. Now, another really neat thing you can do in SCANalytics as a standalone is in Fusion you're going to have all of your prospect accounts, or your client accounts, excuse me, but maybe you want to work with a prospect. What SCANalytics would give you the ability to do is take a client's current holdings and compare those to a model you might recommend. A lot of our clients use SCANalytics as a large part of their sales process, specifically a compare scan report, which I'll show you really quickly here. I would have the ability to basically come in and take a client's statement, enter the positions they're holding currently. Here I'll quickly just throw in 4 mutual funds. I can add these products to this illustration, and I'll title this Sample Prospect. Simply going to designate this as a portfolio of investments and allocate $10,000 to each of these products. I'm going to use a little bit of a longer time frame here on this report, as well as very quickly enter a fee structure. Maybe the client's paying 1% annually, being billed 25 basis points quarterly. I can go ahead and enter that fee structure here quickly, apply it to all of the products in this illustration. And I'm ready to compare the client's current account to a model I might recommend. Now I've already set up a sample model, but just to show you how quick this was, I basically was able to enter the client's current holdings, allocate to them, enter the current fee structure, and I'm ready to compare this client's current account versus a model I might recommend for them. Very quickly here, I'm simply going to queue up the account I want to compare against a sample prospect. I'm going to go ahead and use this sample model account. For the status for the sample prospect, I'm going to call this their current account and my proposed model as a proposed account. Simply going to save that, build this report, and very quickly here I'm going to have my compare scan report, which a lot of advisors are using as a sales tool to really help them win business from prospects. Now right up top on this compare scan, I have the client's current account compared to what I'm recommending. I also get a breakdown of the macro allocation, showing the equities and fixed income components of both of these illustrations. Lastly, I'm also get hypothetical backtested performance, showing me how this current allocation stacks up compared to what I'm recommending for the client. Now, obviously, in this case, works out very nicely. The proposed model has outperformed the client's current model at every point here. Best and worst case analysis on this report. Really, you can also think of this as a two-portfolio holding scan. Best and worst case analysis is going to compare the current portfolio to what I'm recommending for them. Here I have the ability to show the client that not only am I able to capture more upside on any of these periods, I'm actually also risking less downside here with my proposed portfolio. Page 2 is also going to provide me with the risk versus risk graph. Here it's showing me a visual of the client taking slightly less risk and actually getting a much higher return in the proposed portfolio. I also have the ability to compare and contrast some of the basic MPT statistics, Sharpe ratio, alpha, beta R squared. All of these can be used as a selling point. I have a much higher Sharpe ratio. Since inception, almost triple the alpha. I'm also going to get my equity properties, fixed income properties, and metrics, as well as top 10 countries and sectors on both portfolios here. And lastly, my overlap report is going to provide me with any positions that are cross-held between the current and proposed portfolio. So here the current portfolio looks like the client has a number of American funds, a lot of positions that are cross-held. Compared to the portfolio I'm recommending, a lot less overlap. So again, my goal today was to quickly take you through the AdvisoryWorld reports available in TradePMR's Fusion system, as well as show you some of the reports that are available in our SCANalytics as a standalone. So again, in Fusion, you have the ability to run our holding scan as well as fact sheets. System, SCANalytics, you would have access to our full gamut of reports. You would have the holding scan as well as fact sheets, but in our system, you'd also have access to the hypothetical performance report, our compare scan, which is a great sales tool, as I just showed you, detailed analytics, which is a much more comprehensive review of client portfolios, as well as allocation analysis, which is a report a lot of our clients use during the actual implementation meetings with clients. So basically all of the reports available for you in this Fusion interface are $45 a month, and access to our full standalone SCANalytics system along with these reports would run you $105 a month. Now I've gotten a number of emails from folks that want to review specific firm use, and I'll certainly be reaching out to you after this call to review that. If you have any questions about the use of AdvisoryWorld reports within the Fusion interface or SCANalytics as a standalone system, please feel free to type those into the question box, and I'll do my best to address those questions. Now, one of the questions I'm seeing is the fact sheet generation. Again, starting with the home page or Fusion interface, it would be as simple as clicking on accounts, going into your account list here, and simply clicking on a position, and then clicking on fact sheet. You'll see the fact sheet generate in the system itself, and the output will generate for you right here. Again, the fact sheets as well as the holding scans generated out of the Fusion system will be branded with TradePMR. Any reports that you were to build in our actual SCANalytics system will be branded with a logo of your choice. You can customize those reports, as well as the color scheme and logo. So really a fully customizable report in the SCANalytics system, as well as branded TradePMR reports within the Fusion system. So really my goal was to take you through both of these systems within 15 minutes. Hopefully I provided enough information to give you some color on what exactly AdvisoryWorld does within the Fusion system, as well as what SCANalytics can do for you as a standalone. Again, the questions I'm getting are on basic navigation of the system. So again, logging in, as simple as coming to accounts. And if your account is enabled for the AdvisoryWorld reporting, you would see both the holding scan as well as fact sheets buttons here directly in the system. So really, I've taken you through everything I wanted to show you here. I will be reaching out to folks that have asked me to call them individually. And other than that, I will be staying on the line for the next couple minutes to take any questions that come up. Otherwise, I would like to thank you for joining us on today's call and look forward to seeing you on future training calls. Thank you very much for your time. So one last question I saw was if I could just do a quick walkthrough of the holding scan from the top, and I absolutely can. So again, here, clicking on accounts from the home page, I'm simply going to go into this account and click on holding scan. It's pretty much all the heavy lifting that's required on your end there. The holding scan will populate itself. And again, you will see the fully branded TradePMR logo as well as color scheme on these reports. So I'm pretty much here at the end of my time. I'd like to thank you all for joining us on the call today. If you have any questions that come up, please feel free to reach out to myself or our support team. You could reach us at support, S-U-P-P-O-R-T, at advisoryworld.com. Our 800 number is 800-480-3888, option 2. And my direct extension is 105. Thank you very much for your time.